let's move on then. Intercession. Now you brought from Canada, from one of your...
From YWAM.
From YWAM. Yeah. Joyce Huggett, was it? Not
No,
Joyce
no,
Huggett?
no, 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 Joy Dawson.
Joy Dawson, that's it, Joy Dawson.
Now, to me, this business of there being three voices, it's all very important. If you look at the story where Jesus is saying, and who do you say that I am? Which is almost back to the, who is it that you seek? And Peter says, you are the Christ, the Son of the living God. And Peter's listening to the words as they come out of his mouth, because he never thought before he said anything, or did anything actually. And Jesus says, well, flesh and blood can't have revealed that to you. You know, you're saying more than you know. And then he goes on and starts sharing stuff that's been on his heart. And Peter's saying, oh no, that's not going to happen. No, I don't like that. And straight away Jesus has to block him and says, get behind me, Satan. And he's talking not to Peter, but he's talking to what is coming through Peter's words. So in the same way, there can be all sorts of stuff comes into our head, which can be from God, can be from the enemy, or can be just from our own imaginations or preconceived ideas. And that becomes a minefield when we're trying to hear from God. So the good stuff with the listening prayer, the principles of intercession, is one that you specifically are laying some time aside to say, okay, God, what's on your heart? How can I participate through prayer in your purposes? And then you actually take authority over every voice of the enemy by being a chain of command thing. We're under authority, so in the name of Jesus we take authority over every voice of the enemy. But we also put down our own preconceived ideas and every high thought that would exalt itself against the knowledge of God. 2 Corinthians 10:4-6, something like that. And that was a new thing to me, the fact that we could take authority over our own stuff. And as we do that, we create space where we can listen, and we're given perhaps a picture, perhaps a word, a piece of information, a reference, whatever it might be. And as we pool those and then begin to pursue them, so God can take us on a journey in prayer where he begins to share things that might be his preoccupations rather than our own. That's been important.
This has taken us over the years on very important journeys, hasn't it?
Yes.
I mean, you
just
talked
telling you
one earlier,
yeah.
and we couldn't even go into that. But I mean, it was something that was significant. The significance of it actually in society, you couldn't even relate that. But it involved a lot of energy, a lot of concentration.
When we've done workshops on intercessory listening prayer,
yeah.
and I've even done this in contexts where you've got people who are not believers, and the fact that you actually just take authority over that, and they'll have the most amazing, astonishing revelations as part of that workshop. And we've actually had instances where people have come to the Lord through actually recognising that they'd heard from God.
Yeah, to be honest, for me, I've begun to appreciate this teaching more in the last few years,
yes.
as I've begun to relate it to some of the stuff I've been doing New Age-wise, because there's a definite opportunity for people to participate in the spiritual world, but in a way that they're actually putting some armour on, they're putting something around them that doesn't completely and utterly protect them, because none of us are completely and utterly protected, but gives us the ability,
it gives you confidence
to proceed. That's it. I mean, over the years, I know for myself, the intercessory groups, I mean, times that we were on Iona, things that seem completely off the wall at times, and also contradictory, when you put them together, it's almost like they become a garment, that you can see a tapestry, and something begins to form and something begins to change. And then you're able to concentrate your prayer on specific situations that you can then trust God to bring the change, bring the power, bring whatever it is that he's trying to do.
I remember just an example with the dance team. We were off on a particular journey where we'd been given a map of the places we were going and the names of particular folk, just through one of our regular listening prayer times. And one of the details of that was that we were to go to Glastonbury with the team. We were to go to the top of Glastonbury Tor at the summer solstice on the morning, and we were to take bread and break bread with the people who had gathered there to greet the sun. And in the picture we were taking Northumbrian stutty bread. And we got there, And Paul Hendy was shown in prayer just before we got there a particular side of the top of the toe. When he got there, there were some people who were from a place where he'd lived, and he was able to immediately relate to them. They were there just for a walk that morning. It turned up totally randomly. But then, as we got there and we broke the stotty bread, the lad who was there in a green cloak with, I think it was green, with a horn ready to blow the moment when the sun appeared, he was there, and we came towards him with the bread. And he saw the stotty bread and broke into tears and fell into my arms. And he was from Morpeth, and the last time he'd been in Northumberland had been for his mum's funeral. And God knew the detail of that, and that it was important to do specifically what we heard.
Yeah, and that's what I've liked about the intercession stuff over the years, is that God's in the details.
Yes.
And what might seem absolutely trivial, absolutely pathetic at times, is something that really has a trigger effect in somebody's life and changes
when
something.
we've been in situations, say at Glastonbury Festival or some of these sorts of situations, you're having to hear moment by moment, and using those principles have been amazing. I remember me and Anna once having to go on site, and people got pictures that we couldn't make any sense of, and they handed it to us because we were going on site, and the three pictures we got, as we walked on site, they suddenly became like a map, and we were walking through things that actually we had drawings of, and we didn't even know what they meant, and it just confirmed to us that what we were about was the right thing.
Now, we will make available to you, absolutely free, this teaching, which you'll be able to download, so you'll get a better idea of what we're mumbling on about. But it's important to us, and it's been important to an awful lot of people.
And I think sometimes in the community, I've just been saying to folk that we have under-taught the actual detail of how to use that kind of system. That it sounded like a more general principle about making ourselves available for intercession. But what was implied when we used those words in the rule initially was that people would have an experience of knowing what that was like, so that from time to time at least they would make themselves available.
You certainly couldn't do it all the time because it gets too intense.
Yeah. There you go. One of the examples of that would be a picture that we had in listening prayer years ago of the Athona community, and so we asked an artist to take that picture and make it into a physical picture, and we took it with us on the trip down. And it's interesting that the folk from the community started recognising different folk who'd been drawn there, and the couple at the front came that night along the beach and came in where we were doing a dance workshop and stayed the night. And it was just that kind of detail, that God knows the folk. And this was a picture about having a fence so that people are able to sit on it as they explore matters of faith.